Thank you for joining me. This is Corks, Cocktails, and Chemistry, the show where we pour something smooth, speak something real, and stir up the type of chemistry that doesn't just feel good, but also functions well. I am your host, Chafee. Tonight's episode is personal. It doesn't matter if you had two parents, or in a one-parent household, or if you didn't have any parents who were emotionally present, because long before we dated, before we flirted, long before we chose partners, we were watching. And what we watched quietly became the blueprint. The truth is, most of us don't choose love randomly. We choose what feels familiar, and familiar is often formed in childhood. So tonight's episode is called The Relationship We Never Talk About. Now, before we get into this, just take a breath with me. Recognize how you are walking into this space and ask yourself quietly, am I tense or am I relaxed right now? Am I curious or am I already guarded? Am I listening from the past or from the present? There's no right answer. I just want you to notice, because this episode isn't about blaming anyone. It's about understanding why love feels the way it does and how to change that from the inside out if needed. And since we are going there together, let's get us a drink. Let's step into the Flavor Lounge for Glass and Ash. In tonight's glass is a Manhattan. Not flashy, not chaotic, balanced on purpose. Because when you grow up without emotional stability, you learn early how to hold things together. And a Manhattan is all about structure. In this glass, I have 2 ounces of whiskey, 1 ounce of sweet vermouth, 2 dashes of bitters. Now I know, y'all know, just go with me. And a cherry if you like them. Y'all already know I'm not a big fan of bitters, but this particular brand, it has spices like cinnamon. It kind of gives you a holiday style warmth. And there's also a sweet, a subtle sweetness. Even though it's called bitters, it has this little sweetness to it, and it gives you hints of lemon and orange. It kind of balances out the spice. So it's not just bitter, it's layered. You're going to add everything into a mixing glass and stir it. Do not shake it. This drink doesn't respond well to force. It needs patience. Simple, intentional, and steady. Just like the emotional work we are talking about tonight. A Manhattan teaches restraint. You don't overpower it. You don't rush it. You don't skip steps. And that's the lesson for anyone who grew up emotionally self-raised. Healing isn't dramatic, it's consistent. So when people say, oh, I don't think I need therapy, healing isn't dramatic. Therapy isn't dramatic. It's consistent. Now, on the ash tonight, say it with me, medium-bodied cigar. Y'all know I got a medium-bodied cigar because medium-bodied cigars are about balance. They've got enough strength to keep your attention, but they're not so much that they knock you back or numb your taste buds. They sit right in that sweet spot. And you don't have to be a cigar expert to enjoy one. Even seasoned smokers still find them satisfying. Because a medium cigar, it lets you slow down. You can taste the layers. You can notice what the tobacco is doing. You can see where it's taking you instead of fighting through heavy nicotine. And you're going to get flavor notes of cedar and toasted nut like cocoa and a little soft spice. Nothing sharp, nothing aggressive, because when your nervous system grew up braced for impact, the goal isn't stimulation, it's regulation. And I think that's where a lot of people miss out in certain things of what they need to be noticing about their partner. If you know that they have a nervous system that grew up braced for impact, never knowing what's coming next, the goal for them isn't stimulation, it's regulation. So let the cigar burn slow. No fixing, no analyzing, just presence. Tonight, we are choosing balance over survival. That makes me so happy to say. We are choosing balance over survival. Let's take a drink. And take a puff. Okay. Now, before dating, before intimacy, before heartbreak, we learned how love worked by watching our parents. Not necessarily what they said, but how they showed up emotionally. And for most of us, what we learned wasn't love, it was absence. Now, an absent mother isn't always gone. She can be right there physically, but emotionally unreachable. It may be because she's overwhelmed, burned out, in survival mode, or carrying her own wounds, still dealing with her own wounds from childhood or adulthood or whatever it is. So instead of feeling warm and consistent, comfort feels unpredictable. And a child can learn very early, my emotions aren't welcomed here. It's really not safe to need comfort. Or they can ask, will I be met with care or will I be dismissed? So they learn to adapt. They learn to self-soothe instead of asking. They grow up too fast. They learn to manage their own feelings quietly. Now, they become emotionally aware of others, but completely disconnected from themselves. And as adults, this can look like overfunctioning in relationships or becoming the emotional caretaker. It can look like feeling guilty for having needs or struggling to receive love without earning it. They don't struggle to love, they struggle to be loved. Because growing up, love felt like something that had to be managed, not something that was just simply given. And I'm going to say this next part slowly. When care feels inconsistent early in life, you don't stop wanting it, you just stop trusting it. Which brings me to a person that you probably recognize. We're going to call this person the fixer. Now, you know this person. This person is always strong, always composed, always saying, oh, I got it. In relationships, they attract partners who need saving. Not because they love chaos, but because feeling needed feels like connection. They learned early that love comes when you're useful. Care is earned through effort, and rest is conditional. So they give and they give and they carry and they carry and they hold space. What they never learned was how to receive care without proving their worth first. They don't know how to be held. They only know how to hold everything together. Think about that. They don't know how to be held. They only know how to hold everything together. Not that they don't want to be held. They just simply don't know how to let it happen. That's deep. Now, when a father is emotionally distant, inconsistent, or detached, the lesson isn't spoken, it's felt. Affection feels conditional, approval feels earned, and vulnerability feels risky. So, love becomes a performance. And children raised in this energy often learn that I need to be impressive, I need to be useful, I have to be low maintenance, I don't need to be too much. And as adults, this can show up as seeking validation through achievement or confusing attention with intimacy. They can have a fear of abandonment masked as independence. And they're usually restless in stable relationships, meaning that they could have the best friends, but they're restless in those relationships because they're stable and they are used to things being unstable. They may look confident, they may look unbothered, but internally, they are still asking, am I good enough now? Did I do it right this time? If I stop performing, will you stay? Because when affection feels earned, connection never quite feels secure. And that's where this next familiar person comes in. We're just going to call this person the charmer. You know this person too. They're confident, they're smooth, they're great with people. They light up rooms when they walk in. They make connection look easy, but intimacy, that's where they get restless. Because growing up, love felt unpredictable. Approval came and went. Attention felt conditional. So consistency now feels unfamiliar. Sometimes it doesn't even feel safe. They don't fear closeness. They fear what happens after closeness. When the performance ends, when they're seen without the charm. Oh, so some of you are thinking, well, I had both of my parents. Okay, well, you can grow up in a two-parent home and still feel emotionally orphaned. The same way someone does when neither parent is emotionally stable, because emotional availability isn't about just being there. It's about safety. Safety to feel, safety to ask, safety to be seen without being minimized or corrected. When neither parent is emotionally structured or available, a child learns my feelings are inconvenient, so they grow into adults who don't ask for help, don't expect support, handle everything alone, process emotions privately, confuse calm with distance. Not because they don't want love, but because love was never modeled as stable. And when stability is missing early, self-reliance becomes the substitute. Which leads us to another familiar type. The adult who learned not to need. Just imagine, let's see if you know this person. They're reliable, they're successful, they're composed. This is the person that other people lean on. But in relationships, they downplay their needs. They say, I'm good, even when they're not. They stay too long or leave too early. Not because they don't want love, but because love was never modeled as steady. They learned how to survive, not how to rest inside of connection. Ooh, Chafe, do you see yourself in there anywhere? Oh my goodness. Like I said earlier, when you grow up without emotional stability, you learn how to hold things together. In my case, that meant navigating a home with a mother whose love sometimes came with harm and a father who was involved but emotionally distant. So stability didn't feel reliable, it felt self made. Stability felt self made. I learned how to stay quiet when things got loud. I learned how to stay strong when things got heavy. Not because I wanted to, but because that's what kept things from falling apart. And when you grow up like that, you don't just survive situations, you survive relationships. You become the steady one, the reasonable one, the one who doesn't need much, not because you don't have needs, but because having needs once felt unsafe. That's not strength, family. That's adapting. And we don't repeat patterns because we want to. We repeat them because they're embedded. Now, take you a drink and as I walk through this. We repeat patterns because they're embedded. Until awareness steps in, patterns feel like personality. But awareness is the moment the pattern loses control. You don't heal by blaming your parents. You heal by updating what they couldn't teach. That starts with internal chemistry, the relationship you have with yourself. When internal chemistry is unstable, you chase external chemistry to regulate you. When internal chemistry is solid, connection becomes a choice, not a fix. So here's the work, and I promise it's simpler than it sounds. Not easy, but simple. Number one, you're going to name the blueprint. This means getting honest about what love looked like growing up for you. Was it quiet? Was it loud? Was it unpredictable? Was it distant? Were emotions welcomed or avoided? Because what you witness becomes what your nervous system recognizes as normal. You're not judging it, you're just naming it. Awareness turns patterns into choices. Number two, catch your default. Your default is how you react when you feel triggered. Do you chase? Do you shut down? Do you over-explain? Do you go quiet? Do you get defensive? Your default isn't who you are, it's what you learned. Once you catch it in the moment, you stop letting it run the show. When you're right in the middle of something feeling too heavy, the way that you react, the way that it triggers you, that's your default. Catch that. And then you can stop letting it run the moment. Stop letting it run the show. Stop falling into that same pattern. Number three, pause before reacting. Now, this is where healing actually starts. Instead of responding from an old emotion, you give your body a second to settle. Take a breath. Let the feeling pass through you. Then ask yourself, is this about now or is this about then? This pause keeps you from punishing present relationships for past experiences. Number four, communicate clearly. Not through silence, not through attitude, not through hints, through words. Use your words. Say what you need without apologizing for needing it. Say what you feel without blaming. Clarity builds safety. and silence builds assumptions and false narratives. It's simple. Number 5, stay present when it's calm. This one is big. It's huge. Talk to yourself, Jaffe. If you grew up around emotional instability, peace can feel unfamiliar. You might feel the urge to create tension, pull away, or assume that something is wrong because peace feels unfamiliar. But calm isn't a trap. It's a sign of regulation. Staying present when things are steady is how you teach your nervous system that safe love does exist. The real message is this: healing isn't dramatic, it's intentional. It's choosing a different response even when the old one feels automatic. And every time you do that, you're not just changing your relationships, you're changing your internal chemistry. Peace is not boring, it's regulated. I'm going to challenge you here, family. I want you to do some reflecting. Just think about, what did love look like in your home? Love. Not tolerance, not presence. What did love look like in your home? What did you normalize? What are you ready to retire? See, awareness isn't blame. Awareness is freedom. So as we come to the end of this episode, let's take a sip. And let's toast. Let's toast to choosing awareness over autopilot, to learning safety instead of surviving connection, to building chemistry that starts within, and to the courage to say, this pattern, it ends with me. This has been Corks, Cocktails, and Chemistry. And until next time, keep your glass full, your mind open, and your chemistry regulated. Because the strongest connection you'll ever create is the one where you stop abandoning yourself to feel close to someone else. The next round's on me. Don't be late.